Hello everyone and welcome to Random Acts of Squirrel. Today, if you've been watching the last few videos, it looks, I'm in a slightly different spot because I looked at my shirt and I realized I didn't want to look like a floating head. So I didn't have any backdrops or things like that at the moment yet, nothing that adventurous. So I'm sitting on my couch, which is, well, not white or gray like the gray that I'm wearing today. Today is Act 5. Acts of Clatter and Discord. Me, myself, and I. What we're doing today is we are opening up another playlist. As I mentioned before, my goal is kind of have a couple playlists. That way people want to walk into stuff and maybe they only want to do like music videos or they're like talk about music or movies or books, or they want to go through every single act they can. My goal is to have lists where you can break it down and you actually get onto the videos. So if you just want to hear about music, like my takes on music, you can run on that list and you can drop off everything else. So this is the first one. Today is going to talk about 3 big albums. I was just sitting there thinking I have this whole shelf full of CDs, which as we proceed eventually here, I have a big Goodwill pile to get rid of. You bring it in, start filming there, and have a prettier background than what I presently have. I was trying to think, like, what are the 3 CDs that kind of represent where I've been with music? I thought it'd be kind of a fun thing to show. So along the way, if you're doing it, and I'll probably say this a couple times here, if you like this, definitely like the video. It helps me out. I got excited because I think starting tonight, I will have 50 views, which doesn't feel like a lot yet, but you got to start somewhere. And I had another subscriber today, so that person, thank you. I appreciate that. And it's time and effort, but we're going to get there. I lost my train of thought. If you manage to catch it, please have it come back. So subscribe if you like it. Subscribe if you're liking it. Like the video. And on this one especially, because it might be potentially fun, is what are your 3 songs that you are 3 albums or songs? Songs can be specific too. That really hit like 3 parts of you that you feel are like essentially maybe your growing up, your history, that kind of thing. So it's pick 3. You don't get more than that, just 3. And if you can, 3 reasons why. They don't have to be famous. No one has to know them. I can almost guarantee that one of the albums probably no one's ever heard of unless you grew up in the era. The other 2, maybe if you're in the world, you at least maybe heard the name or the artist, but that's the way my music goes. So the first thing is this one. There we are, with its wonderful half-price book sticker on. We'll pull the sticker off while we're doing this here, make it look pretty. Get the rest of the sticker off. It is Huey Lewis and the News. They're one of my first cassettes I bought, and the reason I picked them is there comes a point when you're not listening to other people's music. It's your music, it's your sound. I heard one guy on the radio who talks about lizard brain, and your lizard brain knows what you like, what you want to hear. And this album was that one of those first albums that I bought that was mine. It was kind of my music, like I really felt it. Huey Lewis and the News, they're popular in the 80s. They're not super big, but you could probably need 20 albums that are better. They had a string of hits, and I was either going to choose this album or the one that came out before. The big ones that came off this, Hip to Be Squares off of it. The one that before is the one that's probably the bigger. That's got the I Want a New Drug off of it. Somewhere in between those 2, they did the one song that got on the Back to the Future soundtrack, and the name's eluding me at the time, but that's where it's probably their high point. But as I stated, this is when I stepped up and said, this is my music. I kind of took ownership. My ears said, this is what I want to listen to, this is what I like, this is what I care about. And this got released about like 85, 86, somewhere around there. And then about 10 years later, I found this one. The group is called Pegtop. It is a small, independent Christian band that was primarily in Minnesota. And this is really when I stopped kind of just following the way of the world, started falling into my own rabbit holes for music, a lot of my personality, a lot of just doing things because I wanted to. I started rediscovering a lot of my faith at that point in time, but what I discovered was a lot of the music, which enough videos you run into this, a lot of the stuff that was Christian music didn't do anything. A lot of the commercial music that I liked really didn't have the message sometimes. And so what I loved about this one was just the raw aesthetic of it. The drummer was literally playing pickle jars and stuff. He had made a whole bunch of or pickle buckets, and made a whole bunch of buckets. He was really, at least the way I remember, he was really talented. And he played these buckets almost like they were real drum sets and things like that. And there was something very renegade about it, because about that time frame, there was a festival called Sunshine, and it was held west of the Twin Cities, and it was one of the biggest, I think it was like one of the largest in the United States, of Christian music festivals. And they did a lot of renegade shows where they just show up on a corner and start playing. And they had kind of a Dylan-esque lyrics to it. They had that sort of garage sound where it's just banging on this, you bang on stuff, and that punky attitude. You just go out there, you throw it out, and you have people hear it. And for someone being kind of right, either getting out of high school or into just kind of leaving high school, going into college, it's just kind of cool to see someone go kind of against the system and go try something. I don't know if other ears here, if it's aged well. To me, it brings back nostalgia, and nostalgia always colors things, so it may not be very good, but to me it was awesome. I think I saw them 2-3 times live, and I don't know, it was kind of those cool moments when I first got to meet the band that I liked. About the same time frame in there, let's see, what year is this? This is like 1997 or 98, somewhere in here. And I think this guy is probably the guy who broke most of my taste. Either good or bad, you can define it that way based on what you like. I got into college, and then I had the opportunity to work at a college radio station, and for me that was a blast. I absolutely loved it. You walk in there, you had the mic, you got to broadcast stuff, you were kind of sharing the music. That was still done where you could pick most of the music, so that was awesome too. Just the shelves full of stuff, the vinyl, like everything from local music to classic stuff to jazz. It was just this astounding array of things. And for someone that loves everything and variety and stuff, it was just amazing. And then somewhere along the way, I found this album. And this completely broke my taste in music to the point where either people, this guy's a love-hate guy. You may know him more from, like, he was in Mystery Man. He did some acting, things like that. He's had songs on Shrek. I think it's A Little Drop of Poison. On the cover of one of the albums, because when we had CDs and we had albums, but on the cover of one of the CDs they said, drink some gravel and gargle along with Tom Waits. He has a very rough voice. Got a lot of character, a lot of personality. You're either going to really like it, or you're probably going to be drawn into it, or you're really going to not like it. What I love about his stuff is the lyrics, because he tells these phenomenal stories about different people or different situations. There was just something about the way he wrote it. And this album itself is just really eclectic, because it goes from a song thing where he's talking about what's he building, which is literally him just talking over a droning beat. He's got some really beautiful slow songs, really beautiful love songs almost. He's got some really almost old school, like 1940s blue power songs, something called Cold Water, which runs that way. I don't know, you can tell, look at the cover in this thing. See how beat up it is? I think I've had this since I've had it, which was 98, 99. And it's probably the album I've listened to most my whole career, or my whole listening and stuff like that. The other thing this thing did is it started making me go, wow, you can do other things with music and you don't have to be popular. Which for me was awesome, because then going back to this, I love these guys. It's kind of sad that the lead singer has the ear problems that he has now, so he has, I think, tinnitus, so he can't hear, and that has deafness. So if he was doing a good show, I'd love to see the guy. But I think he's kind of past the point. But in the 80s, you always had like the big top 40 guys. And I liked some of them, but a lot of times the ones I liked were the ones like the one-hit wonders that would kind of come up, you know, have like one or two big hits and then kind of fade off to obscurity, at least to the rest of the world. And when I first saw those bands, I thought, gosh, these bands, they must not be very good. But then as I started listening, I discovered a lot of those bands that maybe have one hit and then go on and have a regular audience for years, I like them better. A lot of the big ones, not a snob per se, but after a while, like, this is kind of generic music. But it's pop music. It's not meant to be really personal or deep. So that is my three that I chose. Let's hold them up again because this is fun. So these are the three I chose. If anybody has comments on this stuff, like they've heard it, they like it, that'd be awesome. I don't expect it, but blessings come everywhere. The last part I want to touch into quick is how I think I'm going to do the reviewing part. I think what's going to come down to is, I think we're going to do maybe best song. An overview, in no particular order, I think. And then maybe we'll do that. So much fun watching me draw it, right, isn't it? I hope. So what I'm thinking we'll do is something like this. If I go through the album, maybe pick up one or two tracks that as I go through that I really like. Maybe like a quick sort of synopsis of what I think of the album, if it's good or not, that kind of thing, pass, fail kind of thing. Some of the stuff's still kind of fuzzy yet, I'm not sure. One of the things I found about music versus movies is I think you can be a little more fuzzy when it comes to movies. But for music, either you like it or you don't. There's very little gray area. I share stuff with my one nephew, and a lot of times he's like, I just don't like it. And then he'll share stuff with me, and there's just something about it, it just doesn't connect with me. And the last part is going to be kind of a rating. I'll give it some kind of version of, because I like 10s, probably out of 10. But that's more just for a quality perspective. I think then you have an idea of what to expect, what you're walking into. So, thank you for your time. Thank you for watching this. If you continue liking it, tell a friend, subscribe, hit the like button, especially this one, because what are the three albums that you really liked? What are the three albums that have great influence in your life that completely broke the way you saw music? Or maybe set it up so that you can't see music any other way? Get the chance, put in the comments. I would love to read them, love to comment back, and have a good rest of your day. Thank you.